And now, before lunch, we have one final panel, and then we'll have our lunch break. This panel, as it's in your agenda, is about ESG and sustainable finance. And the main questions that will be answered in this panel will be the ESG strategy and banking efficiency, the integration of ESG factors in investment decision-making process, and portfolio management. And the role of fintech in advancing sustainability goals, including the use of digital technologies to promote sustainable behaviors and improve ESG data collection and analysis. And for this exciting panel, I would like to call our dear moderator, Reem Gossus, Chief Growth Officer at Village Capital. Nice to meet you. And we have three other very valuable panelists joining us. Dr. Ayben Koy, the Dean of the Graduate School of Finance at Istanbul Ticaret University. Big round of applause for Dr. Koy. And Mr. Alaaddin Kemeira, Tadavul Tech CEO. To have you, please. And finally, Dr. Mohammed Envar Gadum, CEO and co-founder of Payday Takaful. Yes, everyone's ready, and you're at the capable hands of our moderator, and I'll be following from the backstage.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for your patience right before lunch. My name is Reem Gossus. I'm going to be moderating the session on ESGs and sustainable finance. I'm the Chief Growth Officer of Village Capital. We are the largest organization in the world today supporting early stage, impact creating entrepreneurs who are coming up with innovative solutions, place-based innovative solutions for environmental, social, and economic challenges. We support them through acceleration programs using very unique tools that we've developed over the years. And we also support them with access to risk-tolerant capital, either directly through the funds and the grants that we manage, or through our global network of investors that we work closely with. And actually, we are going to be concluding tomorrow. We're here in Istanbul, concluding a regional program for supporting fintechs who are providing services for migrants and refugees. So fintechs play a very big role in enabling social equity and advancing economic challenges as well. So sustainable, I'd like to, we have amazing panelists with us today, and they have extensive experience and hopefully, enrich the discussion on the issue. I'd like to just very quickly introduce our panelists. We have Dr. Ayben Koy. She's an accomplished finance professional with expertise in derivative and capital markets. She has authored multiple books and serves as an editor for scientific journals in the field of finance. And she also provides consultancy and training services in financial and risk management to institutions and businesses, and currently holds the position of Dean at the Graduate School of Finance at Istanbul Ticaret University, where she continues to contribute to the advancement of finance education and research. And we have with us Mr. Alaaddin Kemeira, who has over 20 years of professional experience. He was the country manager for Nokia in Libya and Tunisia. And almost 9 years ago, he embarked on a very ambitious venture as general manager of Tadawul Technology, which you probably all know about by now. And the role involved leading a very ambitious and transformative initiative in the payment solution industry, aiming to disrupt the prevailing cash-driven market. And you wanted also to reshape consumer and retail mindsets as well. With us also Dr. Muhammad Anwar. He's an Islamic finance expert who is passionate about technology and innovation, and he has experience in development of Islamic fintech ecosystem internationally. He's been playing a leading role in the growth of Islamic finance globally, working with governments and institutions. He's an active Sharia board member of multi-sectorial international financial and fintech startups in a number of countries. Today, he is the CEO and co-founder of Payday Takaful, which is a next-generation fintech and insurtech solution. So before I get to the panelists, the issue of sustainable finance and sustainable investment is really picking up traction globally. The share of sustainable investment as percentage of total assets under management globally has grown substantially over the years, from around 28% in 2016 to 38% in 2020, reaching in value around $35 trillion. And the topic of ESG and sustainable finance, it is not new, but today it is the new normal, and it is being discussed in boardrooms. It's being discussed by corporations on their social media channels, and it is actually being demanded by customers, being demanded by regulators, by investors, and even employees themselves, who want to align the values of the company with their own values as well. So let me start with Dr. Koy. I mean, ESGs and sustainable finance are becoming very important catalysts for, addressing all the grave, environmental and social challenges that we are facing today. So as an expert yourself in the field of finance and risk management, what are some of the challenges and key opportunities that you see for businesses and institutions that want to adopt sustainable finance as a strategy for them?
Thank you. Firstly, I want you to tell welcome to our beautiful city, Istanbul. I hope you will have a great time here. So I will do just the beginning firstly. There are many different areas that we can tell about, many information about the ESG and sustainable finance. But firstly, the most important thing that I find related with ESG is we don't have that such standardized reporting system. So many investors and portfolio managers are, I think, not enabled to compare the ESG activities related with business enough. This is very crucial problem for us. And another one is not all the portfolio managers decide the ESG in the investment decision process. Yes, they are increasing the number of the investors increase that when they in the investment process take care about the ESG scores and the activities of the companies, but it takes time, I think. And so as one of them is Turkey, and in many emerging countries or developing countries, we have a general financial literacy problem. So the level of the financial literacy is a bit low. So we also try them to understand ESG focused investment. But they don't have enough information on bond markets, but we try to make them understand green bonds. But they don't know the basic difference between equity market and bond market, or the capital markets and money markets. So if we increase the financial literacy level and if we educate people more, not only the investors, also we need to educate our finance professionals. I mean the highest problem is the level of information of our finance professionals. For example, in Turkey, the finance sector is mostly related with banks, not capital markets. More than 90% is about banking sector. But the people who works as banker in that banks do not have much information on these different new instruments. There are many other things. Also here for 2 days, we are talking on technology. We must be better at using AI products, artificial intelligence and machine learning products in comparing the ESG scores or ESG activities of companies. This can be one other solution who helps the investor to select their portfolios. Regulation is really important. Another important area is regulation. Regulation, and there should be maybe incentives, or the people should know about if they have some other opportunities related with investing in green finance, they should have information on that. And I have taken a few notes. I think another thing is, so there are two areas in sustainable finance. Mostly we focused on the business side and the investor side. And we think the portfolio managers with the investment side. For example, business do not know enough to issue green bonds. They don't know enough to not only the middle and small business companies, and the others do not know enough, but they have many opportunities there. There are some tax regulations to promote them, and also we should help investors to think on long term about sustainable finance. So generally, sometimes the business companies and sometimes the investors think short-term periods. They want to get payback from their projects in shorter times, shorter maturities. But in green finance, generally, you will have your investment in longer periods. So all the business that issuing those instruments and the other side, the investors, should think more in long-term periods to understand these markets. Yeah. I think I have told too
but
much
just
things.
A follow-on,
there are too
just
many.
a follow-on question. I mean, is there a role for academia to support with improving the financial literacy of companies? Do you reach out to the private sector? Do you work? How can they potentially increase, or improve financial literacy and just be aware of the different sustainable financing options that are available for them out there?
There are many projects that we are included. Oh. We are trying to increase the financial literacy level of the any person or finance professional, or sometimes we get in meetings with the businessmen and the others. And also now another thing that we are working on is the digital finance literacy.
Yeah.
Is another area that we are trying to help them about understanding the digital financial tools like crypto markets and the others. So there's a lot of things to do,
That's
and
exciting to
we are
hear.
trying
Yeah.
to involve in many projects like this. Thank you.
Exciting to hear. Mr. Khumeira, moving on to you. I mean, you embarked on a very ambitious, endeavor. And just to read your mission statement from your website, you want to make Libya a cashless society by ensuring citizens and business professionals have the most effective, easy, safe, and innovative e-payment solution at their fingertips, no matter where they are, from the smallest village to the mega metropolis. Can you tell us, I mean, how did you embark on this? Where did this idea come from? It's quite an ambitious endeavor. Tell us a little bit about the story of how you came about establishing Tadawul, and then maybe we can shed some light on some of the challenges you faced as you began to scale the business.
Thank you very much, Reem. So I would like to express my appreciation to everyone who stands behind this event. It's very crucial and important gathering where technology leaders from the region are talking to each other, creating the network that will add value to the overall market. Let me talk about our specific experience in Libyan market. So Libya was always cash-driven market, and everything that's been led by the government previous to 2017, when the private sector entered to this business, and we had the opportunity to enter this business and starting expanding the technology based on the consumer and the market needs. So basically, what happened since 2017, and when we had the cash crisis problem in Libya, you understand Libya was in a very unstable period, we had a very critical and crucial cash crisis problem, and in that time, the Central Bank of Libya decided to open the opportunity for private sector to enter into the market and to offer something to the market who can help consumer and help merchant on closing the gap of, and the issue of cash being not available at the bank branch. So what happened since then, everybody started to capture based on the access they have and the channel they have on the consumer need. And I still benchmark from yesterday's sessions and the panels when they said you don't design something on behalf of the consumer, or you don't try to innovate something without understanding the consumer need. It's the same happened. In Libya, we followed what the consumer needs. So there was a need of basic solution that offer and give the access to the consumer to get their basic needs, their food, their medicines. And in that time, there was a lot of pickup and acceleration of picking up electronic payment solution. And thank God, with our partners, we've been able to deliver hundreds of thousands of cards, and we deploy tens of thousands of point-of-sale terminals, along with other PSPs as well who got the license from Central Bank of Libya. But again, the consumer needs something, and then you do your effort, you do your research, you understand what the consumer wants, and then you get like a very big wall called regulations, okay? And in the regulation side of the, I would say this is a very big barrier where you have regulators, sometimes they don't understand clearly what the consumer needs. They don't know what diversity means. They don't know what, multi-offering means. So we stick with like a list of 10, like a pricing fees, and we have to stick to this pricing, and we need to stick to one technology, and we need to offer that to the market. So basically, in the modern world, we're hearing about digitalization. So all of these terminology is being used at the top level of the country, but unfortunately, we've been blocked. We hope that they're open to listen. We hope that they're gonna change. But what I would say that as something that we learned, consumer needs something. As a technology and banks, even our partner, they're ready to offer, but you get blocked by the regulators. So that's something that we need to take away.
Was that your main challenge, just regulation? I mean, what other challenges did you face?
Mainly regulation. Technology is always available. You can outsource. We managed, to establish a very strong team who can technically run a comprehensive solution in the ground and can deliver. But unfortunately, you get like a very big wall from regulation. Sometimes the regulation will be released, but in a gray format where you don't understand it, the market doesn't understand it, and you get to in the middle of nowhere where you are ready, consumer is ready to adopt, but you cannot deliver because of the regulation. So yeah, regulation are the main obstacle for me, and they should be mature enough and modern enough to adapt what the consumer needs.
Yeah, and I think this was also discussed in the morning panel. Also, panelists brought this issue up that if regulation is not keeping up, it will really stifle, innovation and stand in the way of a certain market being able to integrate into the global market with new solutions as well. Dr. Anwar, you're also embarking on, but more recently, on a very also ambitious endeavor. You set up Payday, Takaful, and you are positioning it as a socially responsible digital insurance provider. So can you tell us a little bit about this new endeavor, and how do you see it being positioned to provide this, positive social impact or environmental sustainability as well?
Good afternoon, everyone, and I would like to thank first of all the organizer for this opportunity. So Payday Takaful, the beauty of Payday Takaful related to Turkey, that we have exposed the idea last year, and today I'm talking about Payday Takaful as a product implemented and live in one country. During my journey in the Islamic financial advisory with the banks, with insurance, with regulators as well, so we found that the product has not reached the level of the impact. So there is a big challenges of Islamic financial institution, how to find a new innovative product that solve the problems of the customer, that help the customers to reach the financial stability. So from that percept that we come up with Payday Takaful. Payday Takaful is a next generation insurtech and fintech solution that partners with insurers, with banks, microfinance institutions, and employers, whether SMEs, corporates, or government entities, to empower low-income workers and less or vulnerable, financially vulnerable and underserved communities through fully digital microinsurance and microfinance services. So as you know that as per the statistics, and especially after the COVID-19, that more than 50% of the workers before the payday, they need a financial assistance. They either go to the employer to ask an advance on salary. The majority of the employers, they don't have the treasury to cover their needs. So they go to the financial institution and they don't find affordable and tailored and fair solution to their needs. So they get indebted highly into a high interest, vicious circle of interest, in addition to the absence of the insurance products. Today in Africa, for example, African countries, the penetration level of the insurance and microinsurance product is very low, at 2% sometimes in some countries. So we come up with a package of microinsurance that allow the subscribers to have access to their salary before the payday without fees, without credit check, without any hidden even charges. So as long as you are subscribers into a life insurance, you have the right to take tailored financial solution back to your salary. So this model is based on high-end next-generation technology. which is directly connected with the ESG, because we are providing financial stability to those people. We save their dignity. We help them to be productive at work, because if they are under financial distress, they cannot perform well within the working space. So we are helping even corporate and employers to boost the productivity, to increase the level of the financial performance as well, in very smart way. So we are live today in Tunisia. We are UK based. We are live in Tunisia, very soon in Oman, and inshallah we are planning to open in Turkey and other countries as well, inshallah.
So just to build on Mr. Ikhmir's, discontent with the issue of the regulator. He's primarily based in Libya. You have very ambitious plans to be in several markets. How do you plan to overcome all of these regulatory hurdles?
So basically, our model is to open an entity in each operating countries or the target country. Each country has its specificity in terms of legal requirements. For example, we are not in some countries we need some licenses. In others, we don't need, as we are just a broker. We are a digital distribution channel for the banks and for the insurance to those kind of peoples. In some countries, it's easy to access this kind of license. So in each country, we are dealing with their regulation. So in our first country, of course, we need that there is a legal assistance provided to us. We are using the license of the partner bank. We are partnering with the bank through a web services, with the insurance as well. So we are just providing services as a broker at the end of the day. I forgot to mention at the scope of ESG, that this is the topic of our panel, that we have created a new segment dedicated to women. So it's a new bespoke product for insurance, life plus health insurance, oriented to women, bespoke to the needs of women, in case of, for example, in case of critical illnesses like cancers, in case of maternity as well, plus the life. And in addition to that, we go to the rural region to provide such kind of services to those who are underserved. So this is another topic that we need to discuss, because it's well appreciated by many ONG that we have discussed it with.
Yeah, that's quite ambitious. Dr. Koy, let's zoom back out again to a macro level. I mean, you mentioned earlier that there's no consensus on an ESG framework yet. So how can these ESG considerations actually be effectively integrated into capital markets in order to promote sustainable finance?
I cannot say directly there's nothing we do, but also they are not enough. I can tell that they are not enough. For example, in our stock markets, there are many concepts under ESG. We have some indexes like sustainability index, and in last year we had begun to calculate the climate index, and we have some criterions for the firms, for the companies, but there are no financial reporting system very standardized related to it. So we grade them, but or if there's a standardization in a country, it differs from sometimes country to country. This is very important, and also if the technical issues related with the ESGs are more numeric, then it's easier to compare. But sometimes some issues are not numeric enough to give them some level. So it becomes difficult for us to make the others to understand. And it is this is accounting and reporting is not directly my area, but we want to see that reports and the financial managers and the portfolio managers need to understand. And also, I think that if the general standard sites may also be more, how can I say that, geographically, maybe. There are many research on these areas too. And also, there's another thing that we will also include this reporting system to our education too. This is my concern.
Education.
Yeah, the education is also my concern. So we have some sustainability courses in our finance programs. We try to teach to our students, but they should learn more because the importance is increasing, and they have to be more analytical thinking with this different tools and with this different investment strategies maybe. And I think for now that's enough.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Humaira, do you see the ESG considerations shaping the future of financial technologies and the payment systems as a whole? Is this something that you're currently, incorporating into your work? How do you see this influencing, the future of fintechs in the payments industry?
Thank you. So ESG is becoming like a prerequisite for the domain of business that we are working on. So you need to consider society, you need to consider, environment, and you need to consider also governments. Okay? And I'm not going to talk about a lot about regulations, which is my pain point, but importantly, we talk about, the environment and how you can help shift the society mindset. So that was basically a crucial exercise when we introduced the e-payment in the Libyan market. So perhaps I talk about my benchmark, which can be an example for others. But in 2017, there was zero electronic payment transaction. There was no e-payment instrument. And there was a very crucial investment required from PSPs and from our partners as a bank to educate the markets. So you need to educate consumer on how to use the products. You need to get closely engaged with the merchant, who is the bottleneck on e-payment, and educate the merchant about the benefits of using the e-payment instrument and accepting cards and wallets. And in addition to that, and importantly, you need to educate them about the risk as well of using that. Today, unfortunately, in the Libyan market today, you see people sharing their PIN, be like a password of the card or password of the wallet. They can expose it to others because they trust the others, and because we been in turbulence in terms of telecommunication, and sometimes customers need to leave his card at the merchant who he is trusting, and he is going to give him his password so he can do the transaction later on. So it's becoming a habit in the market, and like the merchant is feeling like he is supporting you when he asks you for the password, so he do everything for you on your behalf. To change this culture and to, basically to explain to the user or the cardholder and the merchant, this is a very high risk habit. It requires investment, it requires time, and it requires a very strong planning. So now we're moving from offering the basics in terms of e-payment to start offering a value-added service, which are very important components. We're thinking about Islamic credit, we're thinking about other value-added service. So we're moving from, the first wave of e-payment and introducing the basic to a more comprehensive solution, and that will require a lot of effort in educating the market, and specifically where the transaction is happening. I always, when I participated on so many workshops related to cybersecurity, and I always mention the main responsibility is on the consumer. If the consumer is aware, that when he's sharing his like PIN code of the card, is that he could be exposed to fraud, then you are sorted, because the consumer is like, he is the starting point. And we have from the government and PSP, banks, all stakeholders, they need to invest their time and effort in educating the consumer and the society and how they should use e-payment solution, especially when we know that the world is moving towards digitalization and online banking, all of that.
Okay. So I was notified that we have like 3 minutes left now. So maybe on the same topic, Dr. Anwar, moving on to the InsurTech, how does InsurTech today promote sustainable finance and ESG considerations, and what does the future hold in this regard as well?
So basically, we are enabling insurers and banks to leverage a huge amount of data through machine learning, through IoT, in order to help them to create an ESG metrics, for example, and to assess the risk related to the criteria of ESGs, to come up with what? With a tailored and bespoke product that the end customer is in need. So when they come with a tailored product, whether insurance product or finance product, so they will touch the impact. So, and we are impactful solution. This is through the InsurTech and through the fintech platform. In addition to that, the financial inclusion. We are Payday Takaful today implicitly and explicitly in relation with ESG through the financial inclusion journey. We are a digital tool to onboard those vulnerable people, those underserved people who they don't have an account. We find a lot of solutions, a lot of problems before the solution for people who are in the rural environment. They don't have an account. They don't trust bank, so we come up with the concept of a card, like a virtual account. So get access to the insurance, we subscribe them, and we give them a card as a virtual account, so they can use, they can receive the microloan, they can retrieve. So it's a kind of a financial education as well to avoid all such kind of literacy. So it's a long journey. InsurTech has an implicit and explicit role that I have mentioned it for ESG. So using the data, as I have mentioned it, and using the financial inclusion role. Yeah.
Can you both very quickly, because just this is something that's always on my mind. So with fintechs and in the markets that you operate in, financial inclusion is very low. How do you promote this among customers and get this uptake to increase and raise awareness so that your product is used by a wider segment of the population? Very quickly, how do you what type of like awareness, or what do you do to be able to increase the uptake of your
Basically,
product?
we have followed a B2B model in order to access a wide range of people. So we don't go directly to C. We are B2B2C. So our first client is corporates, is government entities. After onboarding them to our platform, they onboard automatically their employees, and they subscribe them through the web or through the mobile app for each customer to select the bundle, or to ask for a new bundle, or to access the financial services. The model is very important. For the second model, which is women-oriented model, so we are looking always for a financial partner who cover all the premium of the subscriptions, So we go to the land, on the ground, and we go and we offer this subscription to the insurance and the financial services for free. Vis-a-vis the end user, it's a free services. So we cover 1 year, 3 months. As per our strategy and our partner insurer, so they are willing to help with 3 months free for the women in the rural environment. Our strategy as well, part of the contribution, we're gonna contribute part of the premium 1 month to 2 months for such kind of segmentation in order to be ESG aligned.
Mr. How do you raise awareness and encourage uptake of your, what's your model? Is it B2B to C? I mean,
no, basically we are working on 3 different dimensions, as we're working with the banks on processing, issuing side, and we always support the banks also on the merchant side of the business and the acceptance network support. So we have to work on 3 different dimensions. So we started with the organization. So we are engaged with consultancy, 3 consultancy firms that are leaders on making sure that we adopt the best practice in security within our organization. And soon, inshallah, within 1 month, we're going to announce first processor on PCI DSS compliance. And this is a very good step where you make sure that the entire organization is working with the right security procedures and practice within the organization internally. So that's the first step. And in parallel, that we are educating the market in Libya. Today, you have an easy access to consumer. In Libya, you have like 5.5 million subscribers within Facebook only. So it's easy when you publish a sponsored, you continue publishing, and trying to make awareness through social media. It's very useful, and the reach is there. So that's in the consumer side. And on the merchant side, 35% of our employees are field support employees and are directly in always contact with the merchant. So we're covering that point by having, like a face-to-face conversation with merchant, explaining the importance of the security and the risk which should be mitigated when the transaction is happening. So this is what we are working on.
Well, very exciting. It was super interesting chatting with you today. Learned lots. We still have a long way to go with, financial literacy and, ESG considerations. Still battling with regulatory and policy issues, but it's super exciting that you're coming up with all these innovative solutions and trying very hard to transform our markets. So thank you very much. It was a pleasure chatting with you. Thank you.
Thank you.